everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Emmerdale's Caleb left dying after Joe's violent attack in dark organ theft storyline. There's catastrophic scenes on Emmerdale next week that could see Caleb Milligan killed off in a brutal death. The character has no idea he's the target of an organ theft plan, with Joe Tate planning on stealing his kidney. The seriously ill villain plans to drug his uncle and get his kidney, needing a donor to survive. But his plan to get Doc Crowley to operate and Caleb be none the wiser completely falls apart, and soon Joe resorts to desperate measures. Soon the whole plan goes wrong as violent scenes see Caleb stabbed and left dying. It's on Crowley to save the seriously injured character who is bleeding to death, and suddenly he flatlines. Spoilers do not give away Caleb's fate or what happens next as a result of Joe's twisted actions. Viewers saw him confirm this week that Caleb was his target, after he learned his uncle was a match after manipulating GP Manpreet Sharma into obtaining a blood test from him. He lied that it was to test for an illness he was suffering with, claiming Caleb's dad Frank Tate had the same condition and he'd inherited it. Manpreet was unsure as Joe claimed he didn't want to worry Caleb if he didn't have to, and also didn't want him to know he was ill. Manpreet fell for it and provided the sample, and soon Crowley confirmed Caleb was the match Joe needed, with a secret transplant operation planned. But new spoilers have revealed all does not go to plan, as Ross Barton gets in the way, leading to Joe taking brutal action to send him packing. The next day Joe and Crowley plan for the operation to happen, with him hoping for Caleb to be drugged so he can be taken in without any awareness. Joe is desperate to get his hands on Caleb's kidney, so when his accomplice Gina fails to play her part in getting Caleb there, Joe resorts to deadly violence. He orders another accomplice named Sean to stab Caleb and steal his car to make it look like a robbery. In horrifying scenes, Caleb is attacked violently as Sean stabs him and leaves him to die. Joe shows up and feigns ignorance before taking a seriously wounded Caleb to a private surgery where Doc Crowley is waiting to begin the operation. But Crowley is mortified by the change in plan as Caleb shows up barely alive with life-threatening injuries. He tells Joe the stabbing injuries are too severe and he might not be able to save his uncle. Soon events take a critical turn when Caleb flatlines on the operating table, just as we saw in the flash-forward teaser in December. With his life slipping away, Joe and Crowley watch on in horror before the dodgy doctor battles to save him, planning to go ahead with the transplant too. But is this the end of Caleb, and will Joe get away with his sickening actions? Spoilers also tease his fling. Dawn Taylor realizes he's abandoned her, while Ross tries to track down missing Joe with the help of Charity Dingle. So might someone come across the grim scene and find out what Joe has done, and what he's been planning all along? Whether Crowley goes through with the transplant and whether Caleb lives or dies is yet to be revealed.